Hi guys, so today we are going from Innsbruck to Salzburg. It's roughly 180 kilometers, and presently I am on a road trip of Austria. This has, like, driving in Europe has been on my bucket list for the longest time, and fortunately I've been able to tick it off. So I've done a few drives so far. We like long drives. One we did from Vienna to Graz. Then we went from Graz towards a beautiful town called Grendelsee. From there we were there for three nights, and from Grendelsee we went to Innsbruck. We were here for 3 nights. So the drive from Grendelsee to Innsbruck was the best drive so far. Has been the drive from Graz to Grendelsee. It was scenic beyond words. Presently, yes, you can see mountains surrounding on all sides. The city of Innsbruck is lovely. It's picturesque, colorful, vibrant. The purpose behind making this video was to give a few pointers about driving in Europe. Because when I was doing my research before coming here, I was trying to look up a few videos on YouTube, but I couldn't find much content. And people have made content, but it's not concise. It was there were loopholes which needed to be figured out. So I had to go and see some other videos which were made in German and then kind of make sense of it. So some things I've learned along the way, which I would like to share with you. The first thing is the car. The car that I rented was from Sixt. Of all the websites, the reviews, Europe, Hertz car, and car rentals. Car rentals is a site which will give you multiple options. I found Sixt the most reliable. And reliable, yes, but the model that I booked was the DS7, which is a upscale luxury model of the Peugeot brand. But as it is written while you're booking your car, it might or might not be available. So they gave me this upgrade. Upgrade is what they say. I think this is slightly smaller in size as compared to the SUV that I booked. This is the BMW Active 2 Series Tourer. And while you're selecting your car, make sure that two things you definitely tick. One is the the GPS system, because it's paramount that you have a good GPS installed in your car while driving in Europe. And second is you take the full damage waiver, because in case you end up scratching your car, denting it, or any mishap occurs on the road, then otherwise you are liable to pay a hefty fees. It's to the scale of 1,000-1,500 euros. At the time of getting the car, the person there, you actually suggested that I book the windshield insurance as well, windshield and tire, which costed me another 180 euros. So I've ended up paying roughly 2,000 euros for my 10-day trip of Europe. As you can see, the roads. Okay, first and foremost, the roads in Europe, I can't say much because it's the first time I'm driving, but the roads in Austria are beyond words superb. There's not a single pothole, a single speed breaker, a single bump that you'll encounter. It has been flawless so far, well maintained, well marked, well informed. You have nothing to worry about as long as you're well prepared, and you have done your research, and you apply a good deal of common sense. So the first thing when you're driving on, so right now we are on the motorway, the expressway, and you can look here, the car GPS will automatically tell you whatever the speed limit is. Also, there will be signs up ahead. As you can see, there's this sign where it's marked at 100. So your speed limit right now is 100. In case you were to exceed it, if the GPS, I don't know if this car does it, or all GPS models do, but then it will give you a warning sign that you're exceeding your speed limit. And yes, you have to drive on the right hand side of the road, which honestly does not make much of a difference while you're driving on the highways, because it's a one way. In cities, yes, it will take a day or two to get used to it, but it's not that problematic, But the thing that you have to really be careful about is following the traffic signs and the road safety rules. Those things are important. I made a few glitches along the way, and I'm learning from my mistakes. It's a learning process. Right now, what I wanted to show is this is the speed limit at 100, and this car has a cruise control. So all I have to do is activate the timer and press the set button. So the speed automatically gets goes to the prescribed speed limit. So when in cities the speed limit is at 50. So all I have to do is press the set button there, rather than trying to manually control the speed, using the accelerator, which at times can be tricky because you end up exceeding the speed limit. So you just put the set button on and there you go. One thing that is a big major deterrent can be is the parking fees. They are exorbitant. For instance, I'll give you an example. The parking that we're using, we're staying at the AC Hotel by Marriott at Innsbruck, and they had a parking right next to the hotel. So for the 3 nights that I parked the car there, we had to shell out 50 euros for the parking. And in Graz, I had to pay around 26 euros for 2 nights. The resort that we had booked in Grandelsea was a big resort, so it had free parking, so we ended up saving a bit there. Otherwise, if you're going to a place, say suppose for instance Swarovski Crystal World, that had like a free parking. Other areas where we went to Hallstatt, there was a paid parking. That's a separate topic altogether, how to take out your parking ticket, and at the time of leaving, how you pay the amount that is charged to you. The one in Hallstatt costed around 10 euros for 4-5 hours of parking there. The road, there's this continuous line you'll see to your right. That is an indicator that you're not to cross that line. You're not supposed to go to that side of the road. Going to turn, say suppose I've already fed the location as Salzburg, okay, in my GPS. So now my GPS is telling me exactly how much time I have to reach there. It's 133 kilometers from here, so another 1.5 hours. Because you are able to maintain constant speed, say speed limit of 100, so you're continuously able to go at 100, you chew up the kilometers just like that. We do in India is we stick to any lane that we want. You'll see the truck drivers, more often than not, they've started going on the right hand side, so they have their own rules that they follow. Here, unless you're overtaking, you have to stick to the right lane. The left lane is strictly for overtaking. When the traffic is moderate to heavy, people actually are using, or say suppose there are many trucks on the right hand side, on the lane that I'm going on right now, then you'll see that people are taking the left side and going straight. Otherwise, as you can see, the car in front, he overtook me and he's come to the right. So this lane is exclusively for, the left lane is exclusive for overtaking, because speed limits, I'm sure they are not going to cross. Yes, there are paths where the local folks, the people who drive here regularly know that there are no speed traps. Speaking of speed traps, there are multiple, there's so many speed cameras on the highway that if you're going to flout the rules, you're for sure going to get like a fine on you, and the fines here are hefty. So yes, you stick to your lane, go at the set speed limit. If you have to overtake, you indicate, then you go to your other lane, you overtake, and again you come back on this lane, right? About the exits and the entries on the motorway, whenever there's an exit coming up, as you can see, if there's an exit to, I don't know how to pronounce this place, it's called Woggle West. So the arrow marks on the road already start indicating that, okay, you have to stick to the right. So this is where you go to the right, as you can see. And you already have to be prepared to go to the right, and then you exit through the exit lane. I can't just suddenly swerve to the right and go there. Also, just after coming out from a city onto the expressway, there's again, as I said, a continuous line. As you can see right ahead, there's a car which is coming. So if you see that car, it is going to come slowly at the given speed limit, and once the continuous line stops and the dotted lines start, that is when you have to come to your lane. Okay, so now the speed limit is at 80. Here, as you can see, it says 80. Again, it's at 60. So the GPS is going to go to 60 in a bit, and that's when I have to slow down further. So now it is at 60. I've still not figured out what the orange lines are for. So we'll take some more research, I guess. So yes, in simple terms, if the line is a continuous line, you're not to shift lanes or overtake, nothing. If the line is dotted and you're exiting a particular city, you can always, once the dotted lines start, you have to indicate that you're coming onto the expressway, and you have to come gradually. Yeah, that's about it for now. Are we on? Yeah, one more thing I had to mention was the no overtaking signs that you'll see on the road. So right now I cannot find one, but it's there on my other footage, which I'll try to incorporate in this video. So when you see that sign, you're not to overtake at any cost. A difficult issue that has been an area of slight anxiety for me are the roundabouts. Gradually I'm overcoming that anxiety, and I'm getting used to them. So roundabouts, how to enter a roundabout and where to exit, you have to be prepared, because there are 3-4 things that are going on simultaneously at that time. One is the speed, you cannot exceed your speed. Second, you have to watch out for the other cars. So in summary, when there are already cars inside the roundabout, you should not enter, you should wait at the line. And once the cars who are inside, they get priority. Once they're out, only then should you enter. And you have to be prepared, like after entering the roundabout, if you have to immediately take the first exit, that is to the right here, then you have to stick to the right lane. And if you're going to circle the roundabout and say go on the second or third exit, you have to leave, then you have to stick to your inside lane and always indicate. Once I think a man, I don't know who, I didn't see, but my wife saw. Apparently he was angry with me for some reason. He rolled down his window and said something. I'm not sure what mistake I did there. And the second time that I was scowled upon was I think while we were going from Monsey to back to our hotel in Grundlesey. That's when one guy in a BMW just overtook me, and he was gesturing. And I think what I am trying to figure out is maybe I was going at the prescribed speed limit, and because I was doing that, he was not able to overtake me for the longest time. And as I told you before, that the locals know their way. They know where the speed traps are, and they avoid it deftly. I was unable to do that, and that's why I guess he got angry. So that's not of my concern. And yeah, so the roundabouts, the parking tickets. So I'm being confident in my explanation of things, but I'm not so sure, because if I've incurred any fines, any traffic speed violations, or I'll just get to know once I go back. So the credit card details are taken by the car booking company at the time of your car rental pickup. So whatever fines I'm going to incur, they are going to charge it to me after I return my car. Yeah, there are multiple rest stations along the route. They are marked as what they write here is RAS stations, and they are beautifully maintained. They are clean restaurants. You can fill up, you can just take a break. Again, you have to be prepared if you have to go to the rest station, unlike just in India where we suddenly swerve and bend the rules. Yeah, see, there's a rest station. It's indicated it's going to be to the right. And if I am going to take a break, I should already gradually try and get to the rightmost lane. As you can see, this road goes to the rest station. And yeah, they are beautifully planned. You can get a nice breather, enjoy a cup of coffee. Am I forgetting anything? See this truck exiting. See, it's coming. Now this continuous line, once this breaks, once it becomes dotted, only then is the truck guy going to come to the left lane, to the left. Yes. And yes, it's yeah. So we met this nice couple family from Gujarat who we met at the top of Innsbruck, Seagroup, Haflicker, those points. And what they did, the other alternative was to pick up your car in one location and drop it off at the other. So he had rented it for 4 or 5 nights. It's cheaper, but I think you end up paying a little extra for the one-way drop, but then you save on the parking and the fuel. So what he had done was he had rented it in Vienna and dropped it off at Innsbruck, and we were just having a casual conversation, and I told him about how one person got angry on me at the roundabout, and I don't know, he had so much inside him. He apparently had been a victim of a lot of abuse, on the road. He's like, मेरे को तो उंगली दिखाया, मेरे को गाली दिया, एक जन ने तो मेरे को खिड़की उधर थूका मेरे ऊपर. I don't know what he was doing. That was his first time driving in Europe as well. Fortunately, so far none of those incidents have happened to me. I think what I surmise is like, he must be driving on the wrong side of the lane and at much lower speeds than the ones given. That's why the other drivers might have gotten irritated. So yeah. So far, yes, it's a learning experience. It's a beautiful experience. If you've always dreamt or wanted to drive around in Europe, I think Austria is one of the best countries for a road trip. It is properly marked, well designated, beautifully. You can effortlessly go about with your trips, and you can explore cities which otherwise you cannot. Like those small towns, the countryside, those are best explored by car. See, this is the no overtaking sign. We just missed that. I guess that's all right. And you can see, the speed limit is at 100, and you can see a speed camera there. So there are multiple speed cameras en route, and you have to be extremely careful about them. So that's that, I guess. I've tried to cover as many points as possible, and if I think of something else or something like there are 2 more trips that are lined up for me from like the present one that we're doing, where we're going to stop at Salzburg for 2 nights, and from there it's Salzburg to Vienna. The rental drop-off time is 2 p.m. so I have to make sure that I reach on time. In case I exceed it, say I think half an hour is a buffer that they give. Suppose it becomes 3-4 by the time I drop the car off, they're going to charge me for 1 extra day, and believe you me, I don't want to do that. So we are going to make sure that we leave Salzburg on time. About the fuel, yes, I think roughly I ended up just one so far. The car was given on full tank, and I have to return it with a full tank. Only one so far I filled. That too, I was just trying it out because you have to fill it out for yourself. And roughly 10 liters of E5 petrol here was for I think 1200 rupees. And today we are going to stop and fill up because there's just 121 kilometers of range left. And yeah, filling fuel on your own, parking on your own. You won't see a single traffic cop or like a policeman on the highway. Everything is monitored, everything is well, and most importantly, the drivers here are so disciplined. Before I sign off for now, one thing I can tell you for sure is not a single horn I've we've heard so far. No one, the honking culture here is obsolete. No one honks unless absolutely necessary, and so far I've roughly done 600-700 kilometers or maybe more, and not a single horn so far. So that's how disciplined they are. They stick to their rules, they stick to their limits, and cover up distances effortlessly. So yeah, bye for now. I shall post this video up soon.